What is really in your protein shake? Every day, millions of Australians blend up their protein powder, convinced they are doing something good for their body. You are trying to build muscle, recover faster, get stronger. But what if I told you the very product you trust to fuel your gains might actually be poisoning you with heavy metals? Here is a finding that should alarm everyone watching this video. A Consumer Reports investigation, published in October 2025, tested 23 popular protein powders and found that 70% of them contained more lead in a single serving than their food safety experts say is safe to consume in a day. 2 plant-based products contained so much lead that experts advise against consuming them at all. Let me put that in perspective. The World Health Organization states that lead exposure was attributed to more than 1.5 million deaths globally in 2021, primarily due to cardiovascular effects. They also state clearly that there is no level of exposure to lead that is known to be without harmful effects. No safe level, 0. And that is not the only problem. The Clean Label Project tested 165 protein powders and found that 47% exceeded at least one federal or state safety limit for heavy metals: lead, arsenic, cadmium, mercury. Toxins that accumulate in your body over time, stored in your bones for decades, slowly releasing back into your bloodstream as you age. But wait, there is more. The supplement industry has a dirty little secret called amino spiking. Companies add cheap amino acids like glycine and taurine to their powders to make them pass nitrogen tests. The label says 25 grams of protein, but you might only be getting 15 grams of actual muscle-building protein. The rest is filler that does nothing for your gains. Today, I am exposing 12 protein powder brands and practices you should think twice about. This is not fear-mongering. This is published science from Consumer Reports, the Clean Label Project, the World Health Organization, and peer-reviewed research. Let us begin. Number 12. Optimum Nutrition Serious Mass. Optimum Nutrition is owned by Glanbia, an Irish multinational headquartered in Kilkenny, Ireland. Glanbia's group revenues reached $3.8 billion in 2024, representing growth of nearly 6% from the previous year. The company describes itself as the world's #1 sports nutrition company, operating in over 100 countries. The Optimum Nutrition brand alone generates well in excess of $1 billion in annual revenue. In their own words, Gold Standard 100% whey is the world's #1 selling whey protein powder. They sponsor McLaren Racing's Formula One team, they partner with elite athletes, and they position themselves as the premium choice for serious fitness enthusiasts. Glanbia's portfolio is staggering. They own Optimum Nutrition, BSN, Isopure, Think, Amazing Grass, SlimFast, and several other brands. When you think you're choosing between different products on the shelf, you're often just choosing between different brands owned by the same Irish corporation. But here's what Consumer Reports found. In their 2025 investigation, Optimum Nutrition's Serious Mass Whey protein powder contained 8.5 micrograms of inorganic arsenic per serving. That's twice the limit Consumer Reports scientists say is safe to consume daily. Arsenic is classified as a known human carcinogen by the EPA. So every time you scoop that mass gainer into your shaker, you might be consuming double the recommended daily limit of a known cancer-causing compound. And remember, this is per serving. Many people take 2 or 3 scoops. Some serious bodybuilders consume multiple servings daily. The company has faced no recalls. The product remains on shelves. Welcome to the unregulated world of dietary supplements, where a billion-dollar corporation can sell you products containing twice the safe limit of arsenic with 0 consequences. Number 11. BSN Synthesix. Here is something most consumers do not realize. BSN is owned by the same company that owns Optimum Nutrition. That is Glanbia plc, the Irish multinational. When you think you are choosing between competing brands, you are often just choosing between different products from the same corporate parent. Glanbia's sports nutrition segment alone generated approximately €1.8 billion in 2023. The global sports nutrition market is valued at approximately $50 billion, and Glanbia sits at the very top of this industry. They have achieved this position through aggressive acquisitions, absorbing competitors and building a portfolio of brands that appear independent but funnel profits to the same corporate headquarters in Ireland. BSN Syntha 6 is marketed as having the best taste in protein. I will admit it does taste good. But that should raise a question. How does a protein powder taste like a milkshake? The answer is usually through artificial flavors, sweeteners, and other additives that have nothing to do with muscle building. When a single Irish corporation controls multiple major protein brands, competition suffers, innovation suffers, and ultimately consumers suffer. Because there is less incentive to improve formulations when you already dominate the market. Why invest in cleaner ingredients when your marketing budget can simply convince consumers that what they are already buying is good enough? Hey mate, before we move on to the next brand, I want to extend an invitation to you. I know it is a lot of information to absorb. When I started researching all of this, I felt completely lost. So I started taking notes. Every brand I researched, every hidden contaminant I discovered, every safer alternative I found. Over time, this has become something I use every time I go shopping. Have you ever wondered if there was a complete guide that told you exactly what to buy or what to avoid? Well, it exists, and I call it my secret Australian food survival guide. It covers all the aisles, all the product categories, the brands to avoid, and the ones worth supporting. If you want to take a look, I have left a link in the pinned comment and also in the QR code that is appearing on your screen. I do not know how long I will keep it there, but it has completely changed the way my family lives. So if it makes sense to you, I will be waiting for you at the special link. Now let us get back to the video. Number 10, IsoPure. Another Glanbia brand. They acquired IsoPure in 2014 for $153 million. It is marketed as a premium zero-carb protein isolate. The branding emphasizes purity, transparency, and quality. Their tagline is "Add less, do more." But those purity claims become questionable when you understand how the supplement industry actually works. Unlike prescription drugs and over-the-counter medications, the FDA does not review, approve, or test supplements like protein powders before they are sold. Companies can put products on shelves without any independent verification of their claims. There is no requirement to test for heavy metal contamination. There is no mandatory testing for actual protein content. There is no verification that what is on the label matches what is in the tub. The industry is essentially self-regulated, which means it is barely regulated at all. Consumer Reports highlighted this lack of oversight. IsoPure benefits from Glanbia's massive marketing budget and distribution network. It is sold in over 100 countries. But does it benefit from rigorous independent testing for contaminants? That is a question every consumer should be asking, and the answer is often uncomfortable. Number 9, Naked Nutrition Mass Gainer. This one is particularly alarming. Consumer Reports testing found that Naked Nutrition's Mass Gainer powder contained 7.7 micrograms of lead per serving. That is approximately 1,570% of Consumer Reports' level of concern for this heavy metal. To put that in perspective, Consumer Reports' safety threshold for lead is 0.5 micrograms per day. A single serving of this mass gainer delivers more than 15 times that amount. Now let me explain why this matters so much. According to peer-reviewed research, more than 90% of body lead is stored in bone. In adults, 94% of absorbed lead is deposited in the bones and teeth. The half-life of lead in bone has been estimated to be years to decades. That means lead you consume today might still be in your body 30 years from now. A landmark study from the University of Michigan found that individuals with the highest levels of bone lead have nearly 3 times the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. The research suggests that 18% of new dementia cases in the United States each year may be linked to cumulative lead exposure. Here's how it works. As you age, your bones naturally release minerals back into the body, just like they release calcium. Unfortunately, the lead you absorbed years ago is released along with them. This allows lead to enter the bloodstream and eventually infiltrate the brain, where it can trigger neurodegeneration. This is a product specifically designed for people who want to consume more calories and protein, people who might take multiple servings daily, people who use it consistently for months or years to build mass. The irony is devastating. You're trying to get healthier, stronger, more robust, and you are unknowingly loading your body with lead that will be stored in your bones and released into your brain decades later. Number 8. Huel Black Edition. Huel markets itself as a nutritionally complete food. They position themselves as a modern, science-backed company solving the problem of convenient nutrition. Their branding emphasizes sustainability and health. Consumer reports found that Huel's Black Edition powder contains 6.3 micrograms of lead per serving. That's approximately 1,290% of their daily lead limit. When Consumer Reports shared their findings, Huel responded by pointing out that their products meet NSF certification thresholds, which allow up to 10 micrograms of lead per day. This is technically true. NSF's threshold is 20 times higher than Consumer Reports' level of concern. But here's the question you should ask yourself. Do you want to consume a product that just barely meets a higher threshold, or do you want the cleanest possible product? The existence of different thresholds reveals a troubling reality. There's no universal agreement on what constitutes safe lead exposure. The California Proposition 65 limit matches Consumer Reports at 0.5 micrograms. The FDA's interim reference level is 8.8 micrograms. NSF allows 10 micrograms. Who do you trust? And why are we accepting any lead in products marketed for health, when the World Health Organization clearly states that there is no level of exposure to lead that is known to be without harmful effects? Number 7. Vega Premium Sport. Consumer Reports found that Vega's Premium Sport powder had enough cadmium that one serving would put you just over their level of concern for that heavy metal. Cadmium is classified as a probable human carcinogen by the Environmental Protection Agency. It accumulates in the kidneys and can cause kidney damage over time. Research shows that cadmium has a long half-life in the bone matrix and brain of 2 to 3 years, causing neurological problems and bone loss. It has been linked to osteoporosis and has shown reproductive toxicity in animal studies. And here's the pattern you should notice. Many of the worst offenders are plant-based proteins. Consumer Reports found that plant-derived protein products had, on average, 9 times the amount of lead found in dairy proteins like whey. 9 times. They also contain twice as much lead as beef-based proteins. Why? Because plants are efficient at extracting heavy metals from soil. Lead, cadmium, and arsenic are naturally present in soil, especially in areas affected by industrial pollution or volcanic activity. When volcanic rock erodes, the heavy metals contaminate the local soil and water supply. Certain crops are especially efficient at extracting these metals from the soil and concentrating them in the parts of the plant that we consume. So if you are choosing plant-based protein for health or ethical reasons, you need to be especially careful about sourcing and testing. The most well-intentioned choice can backfire if the product is contaminated. Number 6. Body Fortress Super Advanced Whey Protein. In 2014, Body Fortress faced a class action lawsuit over amino spiking. Independent testing revealed that despite labels claiming 30 grams of protein per serving, the product contained only 21.5 grams of actual whey protein. The remaining content was attributed to added amino acids like glycine and taurine. These were used to inflate the nitrogen readings that protein tests measure, making the product appear to have more protein than it actually contained. This is fraud. There is no other word for it. You pay for 30 grams of protein, you get 21.5. That is nearly 30% less than what you paid for. Multiply that across millions of consumers, and you understand why companies do this. The profit margins are enormous. Here is how amino spiking works at the technical level. The standard method for measuring protein content is called the Kjeldahl method. It measures total nitrogen in a sample and multiplies by a factor to estimate protein content. But this method cannot distinguish between nitrogen from complete proteins and nitrogen from cheap, free-form amino acids. Creatine monohydrate costs about half as much as whey isolate protein, while yielding 2.7 times the nitrogen value of whey isolate. So a label that claims 25 grams of protein per serving that has 5 grams of creatine added to it could actually have only 11.5 grams of complete protein. The lab results will show 25 grams of protein, but 13.5 grams of that is phony protein coming from the inflated nitrogen value of the creatine. The lawsuit alleged the consumers were deceived about the true nutritional value of what they were purchasing. Body Fortress is far from the only company accused of this practice. Number 5. Any protein with a proprietary blend. When you see the words proprietary blend or protein matrix or amino acid complex on a label, be suspicious. These terms are often used to hide the actual composition of a product. A proprietary blend might list several protein sources, but will not tell you how much of each is included. So a blend that lists whey protein isolate, whey protein concentrate, and milk protein could be 90% cheap concentrate and only 10% premium isolate. The same goes for added amino acids. If a product lists glycine, taurine, or creatine as part of a proprietary blend, there is no way to know how much has been added. Glycine is particularly suspicious because it is one of the cheapest filler amino acids. It is 23% nitrogen by weight, compared to whey protein's 16%, which means it inflates nitrogen readings while providing minimal muscle-building value. One analysis found that a protein powder with glycine at 23% of the mix was suspiciously high, since beef contains about 7% glycine on average, and whey protein contains even less. Look for products that clearly disclose the exact amount of each ingredient. If a company will not tell you what is in their product, ask yourself why. Transparency should be the minimum standard, not a premium feature. Number 4. SlimFast. SlimFast was acquired by Glanbia in 2018. Yes, the same Irish multinational that owns Optimum Nutrition, BSN, and Isopure. Their portfolio just keeps growing. Interestingly, Glanbia recorded a non-cash impairment charge of $91.4 million for SlimFast in 2024. The company attributed this to challenges in the diet category, including the rise of weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. Even the corporation that owns SlimFast is losing faith in the brand. SlimFast is marketed primarily towards weight loss, often to people who are new to fitness and nutrition. These consumers may be less informed about ingredient quality and more susceptible to marketing claims. They are vulnerable, looking for solutions, and willing to trust products that promise quick results. The products typically contain artificial sweeteners, flavors, thickeners, and a protein blend of unspecified proportions. When you are trying to lose weight and improve your health, is a processed shake from a multinational conglomerate really the best choice?
The weight loss industry preys on people's desperation and insecurity. It sells quick fixes and convenience. But real health comes from whole foods, proper nutrition, and sustainable habits. Not from powder packets manufactured by corporations that also sell mass gainers and pre-workout stimulants. Number 3. MusclePharm has faced multiple controversies over the years related to labeling accuracy and business practices. The company has been accused of amino spiking, and independent tests have shown discrepancies between label claims and actual content. When protein powders are tested using methods that differentiate between complete proteins and free amino acids, the results often do not match what is printed on the label. The problem extends throughout the supplement industry. Industry experts say there will always be economic fraud where money is to be made. Some companies do not even know they are selling spiked products because the contract manufacturers they hire to make their protein are scamming them. Many brands that use amino spiking defend the practice by claiming that free-form amino acids are techniques proteins. Single amino acids are not proteins. Chains of amino acids linked together form proteins. Taurine and creatine are not even amino acids in the strict sense. They are closely related substances that produce high nitrogen values at very low cost, which is why they are so widely used for protein spiking. When you are paying premium prices for protein, you deserve to get protein, not cheap fillers that game laboratory tests. Number 2. Chocolate-flavored plant proteins. The Clean Label project found that chocolate-flavored protein powders contained 4 times more lead than vanilla-flavored products. This is a double problem for plant-based chocolate proteins. Plant proteins already show 9 times more lead than whey on average, and adding chocolate flavoring multiplies the contamination risk. Cocoa is notorious for heavy metal contamination. The cacao plant absorbs lead and cadmium from soil, and these metals concentrate in the beans. Consumer Reports and other organizations have repeatedly found dangerous levels of heavy metals in chocolate products, including popular brands marketed to children. The Clean Label project also found that organic protein powders showed 3 times more lead and twice the amount of cadmium compared to non-organic products. This counterintuitive finding relates to the soil in which organic ingredients are grown. Organic farming does not necessarily mean cleaner soil. So when you choose a chocolate plant-based protein thinking you are making a healthy choice, you might actually be choosing the most contaminated option available. If you insist on plant-based protein, consider unflavored or vanilla options, and always look for products that have been independently tested for heavy metals, with results published transparently.
Number 1. Your daily unquestioned shake. This is the most important point of the entire video, and it is not about any single brand. The real danger is the cumulative effect of daily supplementation with products that have not been properly tested, from an industry that essentially regulates itself. Consider this. You wake up and have a protein shake for breakfast. After your workout, you have another shake. Maybe you add a casein shake before bed. That is 3 servings of protein powder daily, potentially delivering 3 times the heavy metal exposure. Now multiply that by 365 days a year, then multiply by 10, 20 or 30 years, you might use these products throughout your fitness journey. Heavy metals bioaccumulate. They build up in your tissues faster than your body can eliminate them. Research shows that bone lead accumulation appears to begin at birth and continues until age 50 to 60, when it starts to decrease through metabolic and hormonal changes. Total lead content in bone can reach 200 milligrams in non-occupationally exposed adults. The half-life of lead in blood is about 40 days, but the half-life in bone is measured in years to decades. Lead you consume today will still be in your bones 30 years from now, slowly releasing back into your bloodstream, crossing the blood-brain barrier, and potentially contributing to cognitive decline, cardiovascular disease, and dementia. Lead causes long-term harm in adults, including increased risk of high blood pressure, cardiovascular problems, and kidney damage. Medical research has established a connection between early lead exposure and future criminal activity, aggression, and behavioral problems. Recent research shows that cumulative bone lead levels are associated with nearly 3 times the risk of Alzheimer's disease. The individual serving might meet some regulatory threshold, but no one has studied the long-term effects of daily consumption over decades. No one has studied the interaction effects of lead, cadmium, and arsenic consumed together. No one has tracked what happens to dedicated athletes who use multiple supplements daily for their entire adult lives. You are the experiment, and the results will not be known until it is too late to change course. So what should you actually use? The good news is that genuinely Australian-owned companies are making quality protein powders with rigorous testing and transparency. True Protein is a 100% Australian-owned, family-run business based in Sydney. They have been operating since 2014 with a focus on natural ingredients, no artificial sweeteners, and full transparency about what goes into their products. They blend everything on site in Australia and offer HASTA certified options for athletes who need banned substance testing. They source their whey protein isolate from New Zealand grass-fed cows, and they publish full ingredient lists without hiding behind proprietary blends. Bulk Nutrients is 100% Australian-owned and operated, based in Tasmania since 2008. They manufacture everything in-house at their factory in southern Tasmania, which gives them complete control over quality. They offer HASTA certified products and publish extensive information about their ingredients and sourcing. They have built a business around transparency, affordability, and supporting local jobs. The Healthy Chef makes pure native WPI using cold filtration to retain nutrients while minimizing processing. Their focus is on clean, minimal ingredients without artificial additives. They prioritize bioavailability and digestibility. Amazonia produces certified organic plant-based proteins right here in Australia. Their Raw Fit Performance protein is designed for serious athletes who want plant-based options without the contamination concerns. They test for heavy metals and publish their results. Nuzest offers clean lean protein, and it has been independently tested for purity and heavy metals. They publish their test results so you can verify the claims. They are committed to transparency in an industry that typically hides behind vague marketing claims. When choosing a protein powder, look for products that clearly state they have been third-party tested for heavy metals. Look for companies that publish their test results. Prefer Australian-owned companies that manufacture locally because they face Australian regulatory oversight and have reputations to protect in their home market. Be especially cautious with plant-based proteins and chocolate flavors. If you choose these options, demand evidence of heavy metal testing and question the value of protein powder altogether. Whole food sources of protein, such as eggs, fish, chicken, beef, and legumes, provide complete nutrition without the contamination risks of processed supplements. Your grandparents built strong bodies without ever seeing a protein powder. They ate real food. Here is the reality. The supplement industry generates billions of dollars, selling you powders in shiny tubs with promises of bigger muscles, faster recovery, and better performance. Glanbia alone generates nearly $4 billion in annual revenue, but behind those promises are products that may contain lead, arsenic, cadmium, and less protein than they claim. The FDA does not test these products before they go to market. The companies police themselves. And when Consumer Reports or Clean Label Project actually tests what is in these products, the results are consistently disturbing. 70% of products exceed lead limits, 47% exceed at least one heavy metal safety threshold, and the companies face zero consequences. Meanwhile, lead accumulates in your bones, year after year, decade after decade, waiting to be released back into your bloodstream as you age, crossing the blood-brain barrier, potentially tripling your risk of Alzheimer's disease. You are not a lab rat. You should not be an unwitting participant in a decades-long experiment on heavy metal accumulation. You deserve to know exactly what you are putting in your body, and you deserve products that are actually safe. Take back control of your nutrition, read the labels, demand third-party testing, choose Australian companies with transparent practices, and consider whether you need protein powder at all, or whether whole foods might serve you better. Your gains are not worth poisoning yourself. Your health is more important than convenience, and your brain is too valuable to fill with lead. Thank you for watching. If you want to protect your health and support Australian businesses, share this video with everyone you know who uses protein powder, and I'll see you in the next investigation.